5 games on the Moeta. So this is also something that we see a little bit more emphasis on between these two teams with their supports compared to some of the other teams that we were covering in the group stages.
Yeah, I'm honestly a little surprised that they haven't given a little bit of attention to the Muerta in the first phase, and that's exactly why, right? You just have flex. I think it's being played pretty much equally between the position 1 and position 4 roles, but in terms of win rate, when it's played as a position 4, it's like 75%, something ridiculously high like that. And Tofu is a big reason why he's just been, and it's not even just one item build either. He goes completely different ones almost every single time, whether it's Vessel Yules, Glipnir Ags, Forstaff and Lotus Orb, Drums and Pipe. Like, they have got so many options. It's so flexible, but then again, so is the Invoker.
It is indeed. Of course, a hero that's pretty much always been first phase banned in a lot of the games that we've seen so far. The road to the international slips through. On without a doubt going to pick it up. Just again, staying with the Moeta, Dota2 hasn't played it yet. So every single game, it has been Tofu. Of course, we have look at Dream League, you look at some Bet Boom tournaments. Of course, towards the tail end of the year, we have seen, you want to call it a little bit of a decrease in some of their play, but really, I mean, these are still the team to look out for. And they're going up against, like you said, a team that knocked them out at Riyadh. So I think, I don't know, I thought a lot of the other series were going to be really close. We didn't get too many close games. I'm hoping this one will be, though.
You know what? It's the day has been running pretty quick. People have no excuse to go to bed early, you know. Stick around, watch the whole day of Dota. This is the one. This is the main event of the day, the last series of the day, like we said. And, well, we're going to see another Dazzle removed from the pool. The most banned hero, I believe, all throughout TI so far, and for pretty good reason. You can just clump up, move on forward. The bad Juju providing so much armor, so much protection. And I'm keen to see how both teams have an understanding of how to play around this heart meta. Gaimin Gladiators in particular really just love buying up hearts on as many cores as possible. And they even are one of the few teams that prioritize the Necrophos a little more than others, with Quinn picking up, I believe, 3 times already so far this tournament. And anything, you know me, we've been casting together for a little bit. That percentage-based damage is, I think, the key to unlocking a lot of these strats. We saw EG just try the Doom. I think that's another good one. You both have the percent damage with the Infernal Blade, as well as the Doom itself, to be able to nullify all of that healing that comes through from either healing supports or the heart itself.
And I've been saying as well, another hero on top of that is the AA, which we've seen some priority with so far today with getting first phased. And it's also another hero that we want to look at heading into this series. So far, Celery hasn't played it in any of their games in the group stages, and Ollie hasn't as well. You mentioned a successful hero for Quinn with the Necro, 3 games, 3 wins. Ollie, three games on the Pugna, 3 wins as well. So that's something that he's been playing a lot. And even Tofu, 5 games on the Moeta. So this is also something that we see a little bit more emphasis on between these two teams with their supports compared to some of the other teams that we were covering in the group stages.
Yeah, I'm honestly a little surprised that they haven't given a little bit of attention to the Muerta in the first phase, and that's exactly why, right? You just have flex. I think it's being played pretty much equally between the position 1 and position 4 roles, but in terms of win rate, when it's played as a position 4, it's like 75%, something ridiculously high like that. And Tofu is a big reason why he's just been, and it's not even just one item build either. He goes completely different ones almost every single time, whether it's Vessel Yules, Glipnir Ags, Forstaff and Lotus Orb, Drums and Pipe. Like, they have got so many options. It's so flexible, but then again, so is the Invoker.
It is indeed. Of course, a hero that's pretty much always been first phase banned in a lot of the games that we've seen so far. The road to the international slips through. On without a doubt going to pick it up. Just again, staying with the Moeta, Dota2 hasn't played it yet. So every single game, it has been Tofu. Of course, we have seen Dota2 more than, it definitely has the capability. We've seen previous Dream Leagues when this hero just came out, but at least so far, they feel like it is best suited for a support.
He's played like 3 times in the past 6 months, though. So it's not like he's been super practicing unless he's been standing it behind closed doors. It really, to me, it doesn't feel like a Dota2 hero, you know?
But some of those heroes you'd say is the Chaos Knight, which is without a doubt top 5 carries at the moment. I still don't have too good of a read on where like Wraith King fits into play. I know Dota2's got like a really good stack there, and Lifestealer. These are really solid heroes at the moment. So of course, we're not going to be looking at his hero at the moment, but when we get further into the draft, we'll see what they want to give over to Dota2.
There's a potential for it. They could look to pick up a Wraith King early-ish just because Ace has shown the potential to be able to play it. I don't think Quinn has actually played too much of the Primal Beast. It's really been Ace that's been fulfilling that sort of role. So in terms of like similarity and flex between the cores, it would really have to be between Ace and Dyrachyo. Even like the Lone Druid is a possibility. You know, we were talking about that yesterday. It really feels like this is the sort of meta that Ace would absolutely be loving.
Any surprises so far with, I guess, the second phase? We only see Gladiators at the moment, but the Dawnbreaker and the Tusk.
I think it's specifically targeting like this offlane. I think that's a big reason behind why Talon were able to come back with that 4-0 record. They just played to their strengths, right? And Q, his Tusk is pretty great. He's one of the only people still playing the support Tiny, and he made it work yesterday with 2 wins, I believe. And yeah, you mentioned the Pugner as well. I'm a little surprised that Ollie still has that it left in the pool for him. Of course, picking it now would a little bit reduce the flexibility of this Invoker, but even coming into the tournament, Pugner plus Void Spirit and Underlord were the 2 heroes that Talon really liked to pair together. And well, there is that Tiny that I was talking about.
Man, if anyone is going to pull out a support Tiny still, it's going to be that best man on screen right now. You said best in the world? That's
best in the world.
That's a pretty big claim.
Bro, he's like third in net worth consistently as this position for Tiny. Come on.
Talon Esports.
This is the hero we've been, you've been definitely mentioning a lot as well with the Phoenix potential. You've got strong combo now out of the puck, so a lot of team fight, a lot of AoE damage. We're going to need to see a response out of Talon. I mean, you pick the puck into the Tiny. Like, I guess we haven't seen really them play the Invoker too much as a support, but you know, there is maybe now you're deciding, do you want to put Tiny mid lane and then play the Invoker, or whether it be for Q or Ollie?
I think you're still generally okay with playing Mikoto on the Invoker. Yes, it's really hard to like chain lock down the puck, but that's what the Tiny is for, right? So it's really just about, you know, maybe playing a little bit more passive of an early game and then really just starting to ramp up around that 15 or so minute mark when you should be starting to come online with your Blink Daggers, with your Urn Vessel, whatever it might be that you've got at that time.
Could be a cool little combo as well, like coil into Deadshot. So we'll see how Gaimin Gladiators, if they can execute that combo as the game goes on. But moment, what do we feel like Talon need to cover? Because again, we see like a lot of team fight out of Gaimin Gladiators. Are you looking to go down that route a little bit as well for Talon to be able to take these 5-on-5 fights once we get there?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, the Brewmaster has actually slipped all the way through to this stage, and I think it's something that Jabs plays pretty significantly well. Of course, it would lead to having a double melee offlane, which isn't really something that you want to be giving away at this stage, unless you're incredibly confident about the strength of it. And I'm just not quite sure if they are quite yet at that point. They're just going to go back to the well again. Why not? The Pugner is a really good combination. It allows you to stay out on the map very frequently just with that that mana battery coming through. Of course, it's probably not going to be paired together with the likes of a Storm Spirit, but still feels pretty strong when played together with a Tiny or an Invoker. Even just the Decrep for the Avid-Toss combo really does rip someone apart.
Have you got a preference with carries, with leaning into the Pugner?
Not really. I mean, I think you just need someone that's either going to have a good amount of stun and kill threat, or you need someone that just stays the hell away from him and doesn't really care, because Pugner's big strengths are high damage, high movement speed, but a lack of like mobility skills.
Oh, we were mentioning the potential of Dyrachyo having a lot of success in the past with the Wraith King. Ace has played it a lot so far as well, but 23 Savage too, we've seen in the past. Really like this Wraith King hero. So you've got a pretty strong safe lane for Talon. Of course, we don't know even if Jabs wants to play it in the off lane. Do have a lot of pushing potential, which, you know, now with the Wraith King Pugner, these towers could fall at a really rapid rate.
And the one criticism that I had about Talon in times gone by, even when they had that really successful Riyadh run, was that it felt like teams that just outpaced them just absolutely ran through them. And so I like that they've added this extra string to their bow where they're able to actually be the ones playing a little bit more on the front foot early on. It's why Liquid have such a great record against them, right? Liquid are great at playing fast, but Talon now, they're looking to try it themselves. And if it is Savage playing this, this would be his 7th game so far of this tournament. 9th game. And this would be his 9th unique hero. So he is really just going for the versatility on his Pentagon right now.
That's the other carry we brought up earlier. So, so both sides are pretty happy, at least with their ones. I wonder what the...
I could see Ace playing it too.
Yes, without a doubt. He's done it in the past.
10 seconds remaining.
I'm
5
just seeing a heart
seconds
builder.
remaining.
You know, like they have a lot of damage, but again, the percent damage a tiny bit lacking outside of the vessel, right? And you know you're going to have the Phantasm to be able to get out of that. You're eventually going to be able to get into a BKB on the CK. We even see occasionally a Manta style come out from him, but probably not super early on. So it is going to take a little bit to be able to get through this CK's HP pool, especially once he hits up onto that level 15 talent. Minus 100% damage taken from the Phantasm. So they only take an extra, 225%? Or, 125%, if you will.
What do you feel like they are...
People that deal with it.
What do you feel like they're lacking in the offlane? I know you said the potential of the CK to be 1 or 3, but if we are still looking for that ace hero to outround their draft and be able to pair up with a Moeta for Tofu, what do you kind of feel like they need to cover?
I don't think they would hate a Brewmaster either, to be honest. I mean, Ace has really good micros, so it obviously already fits his sort of style. And also, it's a nice way to be able to dispel things like the Decrep if you're using it defensively. You can completely isolate one of the heroes in these team fights. You can, use the Void Bruling as well for a little bit of that pushing potential. And you've already got the potential to control a closed-in area of a fight with the Dream Coil, with the Calling, with the Dead Shot. Like, it's a lot of stuff that holds people into this little choke point. So I feel like a Brewmaster would work really well.
Do we see a potential of Centaur even being considered as well for the Gladiators? I mean, it feels like Centaur Moeta could be a pretty strong lane. Maybe as the game goes on, Wraith King, some of the physical damage might be a bit of a concern, but it's just another initiating hero, so the puck can follow up. So you've got the Chaos Knight as well, and Moeta can freely be able to play around these fights.
That's a possibility, and they do get rid of Ace's Low Druid. I'm just thinking, I have a lot of faith in Makoto and Q in terms of their spell timing, right? If you're going to pop the Stampede, they're going to be ready with a Blink Avalanche. They're going to be ready with a Tornado to be able to interrupt that sort of thing. So that's really just what's coming to the front of mind for me. Might not get the same level of effectiveness as you might be truly wanting.
Let's even see what this last band's going to be for Gladiators as well. Of course, we've just seen prior, they're looking to get rid of the Sven just in case there's going to be Jabs playing the Wraith King. And you are going to need to find some ways to be able to deal with this Chaos Knight. Just, the Phantasm, they are really lacking that AoE damage. I mean, Tiny's a support, really, you're probably not considering him. Invoker, sure, pretty decent at it, but you'd like someone else to be able to help out.
Yeah, I haven't really been playing too much other AoE heroes for 23 Savage. It's basically only been the Sven so far, unless you can count a PA and getting into that Battle Fury, but I don't know about how I would feel about that one. In terms of other things, Legion Commander wouldn't be horrible if you were wanting to run this as a position 1 Faceless Void, just to have a little bit of extra saves coming through, and they do go for that brew for the extra team fight. So now, the potential of locking someone down 100 to 0 just ramps up even further, right? You don't want the Phoenix to get off his ultimate and his Sunray. You don't want the Brewmaster to get off his split, because then the team fight just swings so far in the favor of Gaimin Gladiators. So this really does feel like Talon pickoff versus Gaimin Gladiators team fight.
Without a doubt. So we're going to have to see if they continue to go down that route here for Talon. If you want another strong lane, because Gladiators have very strong lanes at the moment. So we get that 24th pick to be able to outrun your draft, whether it's going to be Jabs or Savage, to be able to secure their lane.
Mm-hmm. Looks like they're still discussing it between the two of them. They're the only ones really raising any kind of points within the Talon camp right now. I'm surprised that Sunby hasn't, done the classic coach thing and yoinked one of their seats.
The players be comfy. Ooh, the Naga. Okay. So
I'm just waiting, just in case it's a Jabs one, because it's a C specialty to be able to put the Naga Siren in the off lane. Obviously, if Masaros was here for SMG, he would have been doing it all the way going back to KP as well. He loves that off lane Naga Siren, but it's going to be 23 Savage playing it. It is going to be a Jabs Wraith King coming through. It kind of goes away from that pick-off style that I was talking about. I suppose you do go into the Orchid a little early on the Naga Siren if you really wanted to go down that sort of route. And they are a little bit single target focused, but I mean, again, you've got the Wind Panda to be able to deal with some of those Naga illusions early on before she gets a lot of those stats. So it's a good way to be able to clear out a lot of 23 Savage's team fight effectiveness if it does get to that stage. But remember, that's not really what Talon are going for, right? They're going for the burst. They want to be the ones that are initiating and starting things off. And I'm sure that's what Sunby in the background is drilling into his boys right now.
It's definitely an interesting read, right? Where you can, I know you're mentioning a lot about Talon's potential to just go for these pickoffs and avoid the team fights. And that's something that Illusion Heroes can really help enable, where you just split up the map. We've spoken the supports on Gladiators are really going to struggle with dealing with these Naga illusions. So, you know, we'll see. Do you even have the potential, like if Egg is used, you can Song to kill it or retreat, depending on how Quinn's going to use his coils. So there's a lot of like disengage your methods out of Talon now just with this Naga. And again, Gladiators, they're very team fight heavy, very cooldown reliant. So we're going to have to look at Talon and how they can open up the map. You need to get these Mikoto's rotations on point. You're going to need a pretty decent blink timing out of Q. So his also early rotations going to be pivotal on how early he can get his blink. But you know, if Gaming Gladiators can just get their levels on their supports, their cores, take a couple fights with their ultimates and start to build that lead, and if they can get these 5-on-5 fights, it can still look a bit scary for Talon. But the Naga really throws the spanner in the works here. So we'll see what Savage can do.
We will. And like I was saying before during the earlier stage of the draft, I really still think despite having this quite aggressive, pick-off heavy, and even tower push-oriented draft, it is still going to be a slow-ish 10 to 15 minutes, at least from Talon's perspective. That's what they want. They want to get their core items online. Like you said, Q needs to get into that early Blink Dagger if possible. But once they hit that timing, once they truly come online, I'm expecting to see these 4 heroes minus Savage on the Nagasara just grouping up and trying to ball down these towers. You know, with the Blink Dagger, you can isolate someone, you can burst them with the Decrep, Nether Blast, Spirit Vessel, which I'm sure Mikoto will have at the time. And well, good to see a little bit of banter going on in the overall chat. Broski coming through from 23.
Project Mbappe. All right.
What do you think about the dot cringe after 23 Savage's name?
Bit cringe. I don't know. I was expecting something a little bit better. I guess he's got no sponsor tag. Ratio.
Right away.
Should be fine. Jabs. Oh.
Send the fog nicely.
Get the illusion.
We get to
+2,
to enjoy the Nagasara illusions as well. The noise of the washing machine coming through. Hang on. Every single right click.
They got 2 illusions. Hang on, this extra 2 gold for Quinn and Tofu to start.
Is it over?
I don't know. Let's see how many bounties they get as well. See if we get a fight too. So, of course, both sides well aware of the current positioning. See, this is going to be such an exciting matchup. Like you said, you know, previously, Talon, they knocked out Gladiators at Riyadh. We've seen previously Dream League. Gladiators, I think it was Dream League Season 20, actually knocked out Talon in the playoffs as well. So
the battle begins.
Been back and forth between these 2 teams for the entire year. It does look like GG is going to be able to find 3 bounties as well to start.
I love the Celery Mind Games coming through as well. Only waiting to drop the good luck, have fun after they get that mid D ward off as well. I mean, he does little things that are kind of crazy. Like in the middle of the game, like after a play, even if someone was completely uninvolved, he'll tip them. Even if they weren't supposed to be part of that, he'll tip them just to kind of, you know, sow some of that discourse into the rest of the team. Like, why is he tipping him? What are we talking about? It's all about that little extra edge that you're trying to get throughout these games.
Edge is always important. Always important. You get a little bit of advantage against these 2 teams. They're so evenly matched. Such a treat as we get to see them already being able to battle it out in such an important series. Q down to 100 health though, so early on, Duracho and Celery putting a lot of damage into the 2. This could be a very messy lane though for Talon. Double melee, really going to struggle with the Fire Spirits. Again, Chaos Knight probably one of the better laning carries behind the Trolls, so... And this is not going to get easier as levels go on as well.
No, it's really the level 2 timing that I'm looking for here on Gaimin Gladiators, right? Tiny has 0 armor to be able to start things off. He's bought a Ring of Protection specifically because of this purpose, going up against a Chaos Knight. And, you know, when that Reality Rift comes online, well, maybe you won't have the mana pool for it, actually. considering he has been spamming out the Chaos Bolts, but it really is going to put Q in a lot of strife. You know, going down to -2 armor, you're probably going to be able to secure the kill onto him. So it's important for Talon that they get up to a level 2 pretty quickly on him, just to get that early point in the Avalanche and disrupt any kind of aggressive plays that GG might be trying to make against them.
I mean, are you already considering about maybe even just dragging the wave? I know it's not as potent as what it used to be, but is this something you're considering from Talon to maybe offset the current lane setup? Because we see level 2, they're going to go. Jabs should be our first blood with a dive slow. Dyrachio doesn't need to dive under the tower thanks to Celery's damage over time. And they will take a little bit of damage from the Korea wave. Q's still going to hold them down as well with the Avalanche, but it's a nice hit back damage-wise, but nonetheless, still that first blood gold is going to be huge in this lane.
Going to be Celery getting it again. So got the D-Ward gold, got the first blood gold, and you know, again, Phoenix really doesn't need all that much to be able to have a really high level of impact.
Cold on mid. What's happening here, actually? Cold stuff could be frustrating with the Korea wave. Yeah, Quinn joined over the right side, still has some water runes to play with, but we already see it's mid matchup as well. Quinn trying to, you know, put it to the edge here on Makoto.
It's going to mean that with that dive, he ends up losing the flag bearer creep, so doesn't have that little bit of extra regen. But of course, with the Invoker, somewhat sustainable, right? You've got the Cold Snap to be able to play around with if you wanted to just sit in the Ghost Walk. Probably a little bit too early level-wise to do it.
Yeah. Nice Avalanche to be able to cover Jabs at the moment. But the stun as well on the dive. Celery will actually go down. A much-needed kill for Talon.
Very, very nicely done by Q, specifically making sure that he's able to follow him up on the backside. And again, just that Wraith Fire Blast mid-air. That's, if you're going to make these big brain plays, trying to dive in onto the
Dyrachio. These skeleton damage is really starting to stack up here on Dyrachio.
He's got a tree.
Is it enough? No, 20 health. Is it Q? What? Looking for the TARs.
Why not? Got to go for those sorts of plays. And you were talking about the regen. Gaimin Gladiators is out of regen, and because they've gone for that earlier kill threat, yeah, they've got 1 point in the Chaos Strike, but it's just not enough to be able to keep yourself safe up on this top side. But still, overall, all lanes going fairly well for the Gaimin Gladiators right now. We haven't really been talking about bot all that much, have we?
Oh, Ace off to a good start, 19-6. To the 16-3 currently for the Brewmaster. We'll see what his item build's going to be. You know, we've got him like Brown Boots, Midas, Radiance, maybe a little bit of extra utility as well as a potential. Is there something you are looking at here for Ace?
I think the Radiance would work fairly well, right? You know that it's going to prevent perhaps a little bit of damage.
I don't know about this. Yeah, they wanted to go for Ollie, but it just meant that Savage was freely able to right-click. And now Ace is in some danger as well. Decrypt to slow him down, so Savage can get in front of the retreating Brewmaster. This eventually will be a double kill, and we are seeing the power of this Pugna again. Talon, they played it 3 times with 3 victories in the group stages, and Ollie's really given a good start over to Savage.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when they were playing it in the games leading up to the road to the International, like, it was by far their most common picked hero to be able to pair together with a lot of these other combinations. And, well, I was even talking about, we often see a lot of supports don't have a ton of synergy. You can get kills with just this Pugna and Q once he starts to get into that Blink Dagger timing.
Dude, Quinn is bodying mid though, 34-6 compared to the 26-4. Very impressed with the start that we're seeing out of the puck so far. And of course, we know previously, actually top lane Jabs looking at TP out. Oh, he died in base. Stun still on cooldown for Dyrachio. Q should be able to get back to the tower. Are they actually looking to go for it? No.
It's a big deal to have the Raiders sitting all the way back there, basically level on network with Celery up until this point, off the back of the first slap. But again, oh, wasn't expecting that.
Take your first step.
Oh, some big kills now for Gladiators. You get that one up top. Ollie's now going to be pressured out as well. So yeah, a couple core kills, 1,000 net worth lead early, and this might help the supports to rotate to try and secure the power. And we've already got Q.
It's obvious though, Quinn knows he's here.
Regeneration.
Nicely done.
Q wanted it.
More than Quinn could have done there. He did. But I mean, the thing is, you had a creep wave up underneath this top tier 1 tower, and Q wasn't getting it. They knew that Jabs didn't have a TP, so he was either stacking or going for the power rune, and you would have to assume that the power rune was the one that they were prioritizing. Still, though, that extra regen rune is going to provide a lot to Mikoto. And we were talking about, in terms of last hits, coming out a little bit on top on Quinn, but Mikoto, in terms of net worth, is right there with him. Yeah,
actually, definitely not botting. Not botting at all. He's still doing a very good job. What do we want to see out of these mid laners, though? Because with Coswex, already we will get our first rotation out of Mikoto, so shoved away with the Tornado. Now looking to try and play with jabs as well. Q is not nearby. It's just going to be the 2 cores on Talon. First rotation.
Question of how close does he get to that sentry that's currently blocking the hard camp? Doesn't look like he'll be able to make anything happen.
And they've got the read. Of course, Quinn shoves out the lane, so where would we like to see Quinn rotate to as well? You know, that coil, of course, first one of the game could almost just guarantee a kill. Is there a lane you would prefer the puck to move to?
I'd personally prefer him to go to top, just because Jabs has already had a pretty rough start, and it's going to just be put this Wraith King in the bin. You don't exactly provide a ton of utility when you're being played as an off lane, and they've got that kill threat there with the Chaos Knight as well, guaranteed.
Wonder when we're even going to see Oli maybe think about making a play, potentially through the portal. Currently hugging around this mid lane.
Whacking away at this tier 1 tower already. He's level 5 at 7.5 minutes, so 3 points Nether Blast. He can put a little bit of damage in.
I mean, that could be really frustrating. Just the Pugna showing mid, shoving the wave, putting pressure on the tower to force someone here, which could enable Mikoto. And we're going to see again him to consider about moving top, but
yeah, he's got the urn coming out to him now, and he's probably retreating back to be able to contest this top power rune. No one covering bottom side for Talon right now. Gaimin Gladiators have secured that one, and it's going to be an arcane rune. So what more could you ask for as a puck?
Is under attack.
Celery, you're going to be able to stop the dive away. Let's get some separation. Still going to hunt with the Tornado, but off the mark. So Celery again. Mikoto, these movements, we are going to see. I mean, he's currently fine in net worth, but
you got to make sure you're keeping up.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the big thing. You got to make these early rotations count. You got to get those charges in the Urn of Shadows. You don't want it to be because you've died, and now they're actually going to go for a rotation of their own with that arcane rune, and they know they have to deal with this mid creep wave.
I'm seeing a lot of danger. I mean, more heroes from Dire starting to funnel to top. You just have to sacrifice jabs. In fact, he's even going to be able to TP out. Quinn is still going to be there nonetheless with the coil. So get the kill onto Q. Is this all 5 heroes? Everyone from Dire is at this top side.
He was able to TP out as a result of all of that. So, I mean, it's a lot of heroes being committed. And again, 23 Savage is happy on this bottom side. He's playing the Naga Siren. Maybe they feel on Gaimin Gladiators that, you know what, we've got the Brewmaster. We haven't had to use the split just yet. We have the answers to it early on before she gets too many stats that the Wind Panda's just going to be absolutely able to wreck it with its spell magic.
Do you feel like... Oh, I'll actually hold that because I'm going to have a bit of a brawl once again with 3 heroes around mid. The play's going to be, of course, Dire. They have this ward that was able to scout out Q's currently position. Tofu's hanging behind Quinn as well, so it looks like the puck should be fine. Do you feel like, because we just saw the read, like Gladiators are putting so much emphasis on defending their tower. That was the big advantage we spoke about with Talon, with the Nether Blast and the Wraith King to take these early objectives. Do you agree that Gladiators should like bring 4-5 members to defend these early towers, or should they just play the macro game?
I think they're banking on the fact that Talon are going to overcommit, and they're going to really be able to come out on top with any sort of defense. Because you can't have that sort of thing happen where you only end up getting a support, right? 23 Savage getting a ton of farm.
This could be dangerous. Coil with the egg, but they just blow up Quinn. His health will disappeared. Mikoto's going to go out of the cover of the Ghost Walker. Pretty good dead shot, but really not going to help out too much in the end. Another turnaround's going to be there. What can these 2 supports do to pressure Talon? I mean, Tofu will use a defensive ultimate. Mikoto can still stall out the retreat. Even got Tornado at the ready. Avalanche will help them close the distance. A little bit messy with the Tornado, and Tofu actually gets out. They stop the tree throw damage, and our Celery is going to be back with the combo. Ace comes out of nowhere as well. He's got the ultimate ready to go if they want to continue chasing, and in the end, I mean, it's a support for Quinn's life. You're probably happy with it for Talon, but it's a messy spellcasting nonetheless. Top lane Thoraccio. Mikoto's going to look to try and tip in with jabs. He's just got him far too aggressive in this lane. They recognize there's a very vulnerable Chaos Knight to these rotations, and they will be able to capitalize off the back of that. He's going to try and make it work for the kill. Surely not, right?
Toss forward?
Thoraccio? No way.
Toss? Oh my god, he's getting away. Chaos Knight is just so speedy, man.
Mikoto, can he catch up to him?
No, he doesn't have Cold Snap or Tornado and or anything. Nicely done. So much space. So that's a couple of kills that you really probably should have converted onto. Both one onto Tofu with the avalanche being used at the same time as the tornado, not dealing that additional amount of damage. And yeah, Dota2 getting away with murder there. The plus side, at least still for Talon, is they do have this pushing style lineup. So Ollie is just chipping away at this top tower. It doesn't matter if a couple of creeps get hit into that mid tier 1. There's not too much significant damage being done. And they are going to be opening up the map even further for Savage to play completely uncontested right now on this bottom side of the map.
Is under attack.
Tower does have to go down now, though. Like we've seen, Gladiator's done a pretty good job to stall it out for a couple minutes. And with Egg on cooldown, we're going to have some difficulties of potentially defending this tower with multiple heroes. And yeah, it does look like Talon will be successful. You also take
lucky as well. Power rune top side for Q. So Quinn was right in position to be able to secure that one and maybe make a bit of a move down here to be able to gank Savage. But without that, you don't have as much of that surprise factor. Pinging it out right now that they have been missing off the map for quite some time. So let's see where Savage looks to move.
Both sides are making their own play. Currently, they're going to... Talon will run into Dota2 first. They don't want to go for the CK Mimo Savage.
Song.
Did even...
That's the next level play.
Oh, well done.
I saw Quinn underneath the tower, but anyway.
Yeah, so both sides look for their own individual play across the map. Both be thwarted as well. So this will give a bit of an opportunity now for Gladiators, maybe to put some pressure onto the Tier 1 tower. I mean, they're ready to go to force a 5v5 fight. With these ultimates back up, do you even need to, though? Because again, I mean, Ace, Midas, 2K going in the bank. Are you looking to really take these big engagements at the moment from Dial?
I think you can, just because, again, Talon aren't quite ready yet, but I think what Talon are doing is pretty good. They're not committing their Wraith King to a lot of these pushes. They're not committing 23 Savage to a lot of these pushes. They're only putting heroes that are going to provide a lot of effectiveness in terms of being able to do some tower damage, open up the map, but it's not the absolute worst if they die, and they've got a lot of saves for them in terms of stuns, decrep, heal, tornado, lots of stuff to be able to make sure that they're not giving their lives up for free.
I haven't even noticed. Javs has a Midas queued up. So we are... I mean, this is the classic Talon greed, right? Like trying to go ultra late game. See if he's going to be able to get to that stage. So smoke off from Talon, looking to try and move down bottom to slow down some of the farm that Ace is getting. These two heroes by themselves might lack the damage. Ace can have the potential to get his ultimate off. The timing needs to be perfect with the chain control. And Ace, there we go.
But still, I mean, not having Bruce Split now makes you feel like, you know what, okay, we're a lot more confident to be able to take a lot of these fights. We saw there the Tumbler's toy on Q. Doesn't have the Blink Dagger just yet, but does provide him that little bit of extra initiation. I mean, the Savage and Jabs are going to be very happy about this as well. You know, they don't have that extra little bit of lockdown. They don't have that team fight. Maybe they can get a little bit more greedy with the farm that they're looking to try and pick up.
I mean, we see Makoto just queued up the Midas as well after the Vessel. Tower is under some danger. Oh, very awkward dead shot.
There was a Ricky in the river.
Ah, okay. Right. Just trying to break down some trees to stop the TP locations in. I see.
For sure.
No sellers here?
Makoto be fine, though. And Savage is right behind him.
Bo's gonna break. Right directly on the top. Do they want to deal with the egg or retreat? Savage and Owen's gonna try and turn to bring it down the ditch. Man, so close from Tofu to keep it up, but see Talon nonetheless will be able to bring him down. Now they're gonna look for more. Queen Duke's over to the right side for Q. Perfect placement out of the Tiny. It's gonna make sure there is no escape from the mid lane on Gladiator, or is there? Another orb to get some separation, and Quinn will get out of danger.
Barely. One more second and he would have been dead to rights. Looks like Makoto might even be looking to try and go for a bit of a follow-up here. He might see the illusory orb going up towards the north side, and he's got those Spirit Vessel charges.
Nice hunting. Makoto going to be able to stop the Sunray instant. Now Q's even moving over as well. They should be able to get a double kill as a result of this. Makoto hunting deep behind the tower, getting ready to potentially punish any defense out of Gaming Gladiators.
Is under attack.
I've been really impressed with how Savage has been playing this game so far. You know, sure, he dies one time on the bottom side, but just the realization that he has this complete bottom side of the map to be able to farm. He's put himself a good amount ahead in terms of net worth. He made sure to use the song to be able to get away when they went for that one attempt. And then when they thought that maybe they could try and make a kill attempt of their own, he's in there, right in the position to be able to use that early Manta style, to be able to use all of that net worth as a significant threat. So really, really liking the Savage play so far. Again, 9 games, 9th unique hero from him. So the man is versatile.
And he is really taking over in the net worth. Up there by long shot. I mean, it does have to be said that the rest of the cores on Talon are struggling to keep up in farm. Importantly, you've got this blink on Q ready to go. He's not with the team just yet for this attempt.
Big fingers by Quinn.
So Jabs is still...
Pop all that much on Talon to be able to make that kill attempt happen, right? You've got Q, like you mentioned, going to be about to come in as he refills. He's got a Midas as well on the Tiny, by the way. We're going to have, what, 3 Midases? 3 Midases.
Should be 3.
Talon.
So maybe I'll wait because I think they're going to look to try and make a play off the back of the blink on Q. So they do see Dota2 farming top, which would be a huge kill.
Vision around this top side as well.
And they should get him. Stuck around for a little bit too long. Dota2's been flawless so far, 17 minutes in. The Talon finally going to be able to close the door into the Chaos Snap. They are instant TPs coming through from Gladiators. Are they going to be fast enough to keep him alive? Sunray's out from Celery. Dota2 getting a lot of bonus health back with the life steal as well. Now the Supernova gives him firm control. Dota2 is all a bait, and now with Gladiators here, they can look to clean up. Jabs is going to end up going down. They'll be rewarded with the kill on Savage. Savage wants to turn the fight. The first fight for him, looking to get involved. He's got that Orchid already in the arsenal, but it's still messy. Makoto doesn't have the health pool to bite back as well. Now Ace, he wants to charge on full, but the song will stop him short. Savage is able to TP out, but Dota2 lives long enough. The boys come in full force, and that's a 3-for-1 in the end.
It's just those little things, right? Millimeters of difference. The chain control wasn't perfect before he was able to get the Phantasm off, which meant that you ended up hitting the wrong Phantasm illusion. Look at all that damage as well coming out from Celery. This is the reason why I'm saying teams, I know it's been picked a fair amount already, but pick Phoenix more. Against a lot of these beefy heroes in these longer team fights, it really does shine.
It's another attempt potentially.
Dire's middle tower
underneath this observe ward.
No split now. The Radiance.
But nonetheless, with all the magical damage, be able to bring him down.
The chance this time.
So again, this is the big thing we brought up in the draft, right? Like, Gladiators, you're playing with a lineup that is very cooldown reliant. So Talon, this is where you can look to really put some pressure onto the map. And it's going to be up to Quinn kind of to stall it out. I mean, you see instantly shoves out mid, it's going to force Talon to respond. Now we've got a little bit of break in the action. How do we feel about this going late game? Because your Gladiators, you look, again, 5v5 team fight looks super scary. But Talon feel like with their Midases, maybe they can compete up against this. Quinn, nice silence, wow. Pro is even
gonna need to coil Q. He knows the kill threat's coming there from the Tiny, and yeah, the multiple Midases. Okay, ends up snapping the coil anyway. Yeah, the multiple Midases really do lean it slightly more towards Talon than what I would normally predict, and also just the fact that it's Q playing the Tiny, right? We've seen what this man is able to do. We've seen his mid to late game impact. You could kind of like the Muerta, honestly, become that legitimate fourth core for the team. So I really feel like it's going to be pretty damn even if it gets late. It's going to be the fact that Talon are playing around this ward as well, right? It's something that I was really wanting them to do. They knew with the kill that they were able to secure onto Ace that it was obvious that that sort of area was warded. So not only do they protect it, they also get rid of an observer ward of Gaimin zone. Still, net worth is literally dead even.
And the reason why it was like that for quite some time was because of 23 Savage, but now it's given time for, Jabs. His Midas is continuing to pay off. He had a Blade Mail queued up for quite some time, but it's currently the Radius that he's changed his mind to. We are seeing he's looking for that Ultra Scaling, which we have kind of seen from some of the offlane Wraith Kings, Radiance, Interceptor. I know earlier today, we got the kind of core Wraith King from Noticed on Virtus Pro, so a different choice here from Jabs, but yeah, like you said, still very close this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Wraith King Ags is pretty significant this game. I mean, you consider the sort of heroes that you're playing alongside. Like, it probably means another Avatos combination, for example, if Q ends up dying, and that's a significant amount of burst damage. It means a lot more damage coming out from Ollie. Like, these sorts of things are super significant once it gets to the later stages. And again, Midas is really starting to pay off now.
But they are. What about some of the support itemization? We've spoken a lot about Moeta having a very versatile item build. We see Tofu 4, 1, and 2, highest net worth out of the support. So he can kind of go for some different items to help out. We'll see how we can get involved off the back of the smoke here. Gladiators as the target. Q is currently going to show on the lane. They should know what smoke's going on, though. Ace revealed the Cinderbrew and the Clap. So let's see how they'll play accordingly now on Talon. It's just an all retreat.
Not even defending this mid wave at all. They're letting Dota2 be the one to be able to take it out. They know something's up. They would much rather have better positioning or no positioning at all. They're just going to back off completely. So time wasted, more value for Midases. You know that Gaimin Gladiators aren't farming. You're okay in general. And for the fact that their tier 1 tower mid lasted until 21.5 minutes, I think they're fairly satisfied.
Yeah, so I was going to
get a bit of a line being drawn on the map now, but I'm sure Jabs is saying, guys, just give me a little bit more time. 400 gold away from my Radiance. That'll be a real difference maker against this CK.
Are they looking for their own smoke here for Talon? What's the group up as well?
They want to, but yeah, like Jabs really just wants literally an extra 30 seconds. So
okay, so
what can you do to the lanes in that time?
I'm going to mention before, do you like the route from Tofu going the Lotus? Like, is there any other things? Okay.
Like, by far, I think it's the best item in this game, considering what you're up against, right? It means no targeted stun from the Wraith King, no slow from the Wraith King, no cold snap, no Orchid, no Decrepify. It's a lot of stuff that it protects you against, even just the toss from Q as well. So these sorts of things are really going to be high value for them. I mean, even just the armor component as well, right? Against the Wraith King and the Naga Siren feels pretty good.
Some big item timings, though. Savage completes the heart.
Both teams.
And there's the Radiance as well for the Wraith King. So we are ready to go, and we're probably at a stage where we need to be looking towards Roche. I'd say Dire maybe struggle a little bit more at taking that. But Radiant, without a doubt, should be able to if they have a little bit more time. So it is going to be down bottom for the next 2 minutes. No one currently has too much vision set up in the area.
He knows there's people nearby with that Nether Ward being placed down. Ends up just being able to poke and prod onto Q. He knows that unless Savage is there, there's no way he's going to die. And even then, he's got the Yule Scepter to be able to play around with for that Orchid. So it really is Q being the main hero that he needs to be worried about. I wonder if they're even making the call of, you know what, we wanted the Radiance on Jabs, now we want the Midas on Q before we make any sorts of plays. Hell, even if we end up dying, we're still going to be impacting our net worth positively. Not if he dies, though, and gives up a good amount of that unreliable gold.
Back-to-back smokes that might not work out. Jabs is going to act as a bait. Pops the smoke, of course. Can eat a lot of the spells. They haven't used too many big abilities, though. More over the left side. Savage going toe-to-toe. It's a pretty good supernova in the middle of the team fight. 23 needs to make the call to retreat. They'll get out of range of the egg. It's a lot of abilities now used. Meanwhile, Jabs on the right side, though, does get assassinated. Can you still go for more from Gaimin Gladiators? You don't have the greatest health pool on Dota2.
All you've really got left is the Pierce the Veil on to Tofu, and he's got the Aghanim Shard as well to be able to play around with, so he can look to stand his ground at man fight, but like you said, they've got absolutely nothing else. No Dream Call, no Supernova, no Split, no Phantasm even to be able to make plays around. So the fact that, a Wraith King dies, not the greatest, still the very long cooldown on the reincarnation, but he's going to be back up. He's still got the Midas ticking, so I think he's generally okay with things. And he's going to be the one acting as that bait a lot of the time. You can see immediately after that, he queues up the Blade Mail, just making sure that, you know what, if you're going to commit this much onto me, not only are you getting burned, you're also probably going to die.
Really have the lanes in a good position to make something out of the map here, Talon. Have to pick off onto Tofu. They're going to look to maybe connect to top as well. They've got this lane shoved out. Mid's going to be pushed out as well. So they can, you still got, 50 seconds with Egg on cooldown, 57 with the Primal Split. So you can continue to posture pretty aggressively inside Dire's jungle.
And vision isn't amazing right now for Talon, especially considering it did just turn into nighttime. I would have loved if Ollie was able to, for example, get an observer ward behind that top tier 2 tower just to be able to play around. But you know that Jabs isn't going to be joining in for the next little bit, right? Like, it's still another 40 seconds until he's going to have that reincarnation back and available. So I assume he just wants to get that blade mail before he joins the rest of the boys. But I was really expecting perhaps a little bit more emphasis onto, you know, putting some damage into this tier 2 top.
Radiant are scanning.
That's so crazy to see. Triple Midas and one on a support tiny, a 4 tiny.
Let's go.
Like, what are they doing? This is just classic Talon stuff,
Radiant's
man.
middle tower
Let's go late game. Let's
Ultimate HQ, bro.
A lot of people have mentioned, you know, Jabs are very greedy. Offlaner, you play ultra late, 3 cores. Why not have a 4th core involved as well? So, do a bit of a difference down some of these upcoming fights. Hello with that 2nd level in the Supernova. We've seen eggs have been very difficult for Talon to address. And I do not think that's really going to change unless it's a poor placement of the egg inside the fights or Savage again uses Song to deal with it.
Once it gets later on, I think it's they're going to be a lot more capable of doing it. Like, Jabs will probably go maybe a BKB, maybe a Blink Dagger, but I'm expecting an AC to be coming as well in his future, just to be able to provide that little bit of extra attack speed both for himself and the rest of the team, and provide a little bit of extra protection as well against the likes of that CK.
So huge.
Pretty huge himself. He's got 4k HP now on Dyrachyo, so it was hard to kill him before. Imagine now.
Big boy. You do compare him though up against the other carry in Savage. It's about to be a butterfly, which could be a huge item timing. You have seen he's had some difficulties with like entering some of these team fights. But this game has really not changed in regard to the status. We've only got 19 kills, 1,000 net worth lead, and I don't know, it's been like that for 10 plus minutes.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Q once again prioritizing his own mobility. He's got the Ogre Seal Totem as his tier 3 neutral item. A very nice one to be able to have, just to provide that little bit of extra quick speed to be able to get in with the Blink Dagger, even just as a tool to be able to get out of that calling as well. Feels really nice.
Dude, Ace is a Manta queued up. You want your own like illusion spam of waves? I can do that too. Radiance Manta. All right, very interesting.
Universal Hero as well. Feels good.
True. So crazy. All right, I wonder what his item's going to be after that.
His top ward is just out of range as well. Yeah. Thank you very much for this one up.
What do we feel like is realistic here for Talon to be able to get off the back of the ages? Who do we even give it to firstly? Is there a preference?
I don't know, actually. I mean, maybe they feel like Savage needs it just to be able to play aggressively more with this butterfly that he's freshly picked up, right? Like, if you've got all of this survivability, then you got to do something with it, right? And I feel like he's no stranger to being the one that dives in super deep. Oh my God. They'll be able to get the Wisdom Rune as well.
Is under attack.
It always feels like Talon are just waiting for like, one more item, one more thing. You know, you can go for a little bit more of an aggressive oriented draft, but at the end of the day, you're going to default back to what's got you to this stage. And well, 3 Midases and, you know, a little bit of a slower mid game really does feel like the Talon way. I'm just a little worried that perhaps when they had that previous big timing up top, where there were no ultimates on Gaimin Gladiators, that they didn't get enough out of the map. Almost a BKB on Mikoto, which will feel real nice for him.
I do like the fact that we see Gem already currently on Gladiators compared to Radiant. And when it's going to come down to with such an even game on who's going to be able to get that jump, you have some very important heroes in their ultimates, and Talon have this potential to blow them up full from 0. This is a very interesting pathing from Dyrachyo as well. Jabs is about to be cut off. Now, it, of course, does have reincarnation, so the instant rainbow TPs are out.
He's committing.
Dyrachyo did buy the BKB prior, so if required, he can use it to retreat. What is the call?
They're walking through a creep wave.
Savage is charging Quinn's away from the team as well. You won't have the puck for the moment. It's going to get a bit messy, though.
Yeah. I think they're really just wanting to bait out a few of these big team fight ultimates. Both teams acting as that, you know, can we get the song out of them? Can we get the bruise split out of them? Can we get anything? But neither team is going to be taking the bait.
I see. With those TPs down to bottom, let's see what Gladiators can do on the map now. This is going to give them at least a bit of advantage with their mobility. We do see instantly Talon moving 2 heroes to top.
Makes a lot of sense, right? You could sacrifice one lane, but not even that, actually. It's going to be Jabs TPing towards that mid. He is working towards that AC that I was talking about as well. So I really like this. I was considering that because of how effectively he was being controlled in that past fight, that he might be considering a Blink Dagger or a BKB, but this really does feel like A, an egg killer, B, a puck killer with the minus armor, and C, just protection against the Chaos Knight.
One man we haven't spoken about too much this game is Quinn on the park. Of course, he's a very comfortable hero, master tier with it. We've seen takeover games in the past. The hero that we don't really get too often at the moment in the meta, but he has a very interesting item queued up in the Mjolnir.
Sure. I mean, going up against a Naga Siren, it always feels pretty good. He's already got that early Aghanim Shard as well, so he's going to be launching out a lot of attacks, getting a lot of those procs, basically guaranteeing a Maelstrom proc every single time that he uses the phase shift. Plus, it's only going to be one proc as that little internal cooldown.
We're going to get a fight, yeah, with these Aegis. It's just not going to be a bunch of posturing and people just farming.
You'd hope so.
I'd hope so.
I mean, what's Savage got coming out to a BKB? I mean, if that says I want to fight, that is really the one that I'm expecting to see them try and rally around a little bit here on Talon.
But they've got to get usage out of this butterfly. Duracho is already halfway towards the MKB. This is a big spike for them. And they currently see Savage away from the team, so they're going to smoke in the opposite direction. Oli might be the first point of contact. He's going to continue running to the left side, so maybe they'll get a juicier kill instead.
Dire are scanning.
They've got BKBs though, and they've currently got no way to be able to have that BKB piercing disable right now. Quinn still just on 18.
Seller detection. That's a little bit. Is the call going to be Makoto turns super early, use of the egg. They don't really have many heroes to protect them. Makoto with the alacrity. I mean, it's a big opportunity if Savage wants the song to get some more heroes now. I want to fight. They're coming in. Over to the northern side, Duracho assassinated Jabs. That was a reincarnation used early on. It's Ace jumps in the middle. Duracho's going to look to get the second life out of Jabs as well. Savage's song will do nothing. 4v4 at the moment. Gladiators, can they look to get more as well? As Savage is by himself. Talon, they're not in a position to protect him. As GG find a big kill, they're going to be able to surround him on this second lap, and Quinn will force away the reinforcements. Savage has the BKB to protect himself momentarily, but look at Ace guiding Makoto on the backline. That sets up the Quinn's jump. And Orchid will prevent the spell casting, but the dead shot drags him back to the Duracho. And Ace isn't done just yet. Deep inside the base they go. They might need a toss out. Q, can he protect Savage? They've got the drain. Ollie will keep 23 alive for the moment, but there is going to be no response from Talon. And finally, there is a big break from Dire.
There is, and I mean, it's unfortunate. They're looking like they want to try fighting here on Savage again. The Avatar's couple with Jabs is coming back up.
Savage, can you fight this? I mean, you really don't want to use this Makoto buyback. You're relying on Oli and Tiny to get you out of danger. Savage gets some distance. Quinn's going to jump to the backline as well. The spell's still on cooldown for Q. Yours instead. Avalanche is up in a couple seconds. Duracho's going to try and prevent Q from holding Quinn into place. And meanwhile, these buildings are full. They've held the buyback from Makoto, but there's still been an opportunity to get more kills. Quinn easily jumps and blows up Jabs, and all of a sudden, this game, it's out of control.
Yeah, it's blown wide open, and it goes back to the tiniest of things. They had the glyph for the tier 2 tower that they were fighting underneath. Maybe that extra multi-shot would have also cleared out the creep wave and prevented them from being able to take this tier 3 tower. So little things like that really do add up a whole lot more. They're even able to lay down some vision on this top side of the Radiant base, and they haven't cleared it out just yet. So they know exactly the fact that they are leaving the base. They're not going to be holed up. Being played a little scared, and this is really what I was worried about, the fact that with the Aegis, before they hit some of these really scary timings on Gaimin Gladiators, they just didn't get enough out of it.
Dude, that was all without an MKB on Duracho. This guy is having an incredible showing. He is nullified Jabs' impact. 2-6-0 from the off-lane Wraith King. You know, he's going for this Radiance, AC queued up, but we haven't felt his impact. And just Duracho is killing him multiple times inside these team fights. He's such a menace. Level 20 now, and with that big item, it does not get easier for Talon.
And you just saw how well Ace was able to deal with the Naga illusions as well, right? Like, he's probably as tanky as he's going to get on 23 Savage. Like, he's going into a Scythe next. This isn't a Skadi game for the Naga Siren, right? You're farmed enough. You need to be able to do some damage rather than just be survivable. But just it takes so much damage from that Dispel Magic from the Brewmaster.
And dude, they killed the egg without anyone else there. Like, that start of the fight for Talon where you didn't have to commit too heavily to get a big hero. Like, it's not only the egg, but it's the Sunray as well from Celery. We might see have a lot of impact inside this smoke engagement. Not a lot of heroes in Savage. That's the real Naga. Oops, Savage. Ups to BKB, no messing around.
You
poured out too. This is a Hex now completed for 23.
It's also Mjolnir now finished up by Quinn. That damage from the puck is going to be super significant. What Macy coming out to him as well on the Brew? What did he? He's the Octavate, never mind.
He's so farm. Oh my god, Quickening Charm on top of it, one of the better neutral items for the Brewmaster.
Wouldn't hate seeing an axe from him just to have that permanent Storm ruling out.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
So it's
just taking over the map.
They are not stopping as well. Double siege wave. They'll force Talon back to base.
An aggressive flip coming through here. Need to protect this wave as much as possible.
Previously, the teamfight ultimates have been disastrous for Talon inside the fight. They're going to jump jabs again to start. Should be able to kill the first fight without committing too heavily. What can Talon do to protect jabs on the respawn? Get some separation to the right side. There's the song. They can help protect jabs, but do they go back in afterwards?
A toss on Q.
So hesitant.
They're not going to get anything.
Oh, wow. This is just an incredible 5v5 team for Gaming. And we're seeing these big ultimates just be such a concern for Talon. They don't have ways to address them at the moment. They're going to try and make a fight occur with Phantasm split on cooldown, but these are for 40 seconds.
They smoked under the ward.
Okay.
They know it's coming. They're just backing off completely. Might even be looking to go through the twin gate and get the hell out of there, but looks like it's the high ground that they're wanting to play around, banking on the fact that Roshan might have respawned. It's a really long one. The longest they could have possibly hoped for on Gaming Gladiators, and you don't want to walk up into this.
Quinn's in a great spot. Pops the smoke, gets the information. They're going to use the ward as well. Q will find a pretty good initiation onto the Phoenix. There's just no follow-up.
No voice.
Salary's okay. Q jumped into the lion's den, and Talon don't want to follow him to death. They'll look to retreat to the southern side. Daracho's going far too forward. It's a big go on the chaos side if they're going to be able to find it. And Supernova dropped from the Hex. They're going to try and turn to deal with the egg. I don't know if they got the right clicks. Egg will pop at the last second. Makoto's in some danger. Daracho with the instant buyback into the middle, but Savage, he'll give them an opportunity to retreat. Ace, he actually cancels the TP. The Brewing stops Savage from getting out. They cannot chase the Naga sign down to the south. Quinn, he got Makoto as well. A disastrous fight. The buyback from Daracho, huge. The egg even better. And now Gaming Gladiators can look to walk it down and go for the finishing blow. Savage wants to bring one man over the grave, but he won't even do that.
They got absolutely nothing left as well. Q doing his best to try and delay the push, but Ace is everywhere, man. Topping the net worth for Gaming Gladiators right now, and he's being the absolute bane of this Nagasarina's existence.
Tower is under attack.
No song save, no Naga illusions in the early game, even just the Radiance. What I expect there.
Who fights apparently is all you need, especially with the caliber of this team. You give them an advantage and they will completely take over the map and not look back from there. About to be mega creeps for Talon to deal with.
They're gonna hold on, but still another 20 seconds until you're gonna get any sort of pause back into this game, and went for a slightly more aggressive route, but then the greed took over. The classic mentality of wanting to go into that late game. SEA plays it better than a lot of other teams and a lot of other regions, but it's just not enough.
He's like, take my life instead. They were just turning to the throne. Makoto's back. You've got, Savage in fight, but it's far too long. Couple seconds too long. In fact, in Gaming Gladiators will be rewarded with their gameplay with a first map victory, 39 minutes in.
And it's a convincing one as well, right? It seemed pretty even in the early-ish game. They got off to a good start. Man, it just goes to show why these guys have won pretty much every land that they've attended this year. What is that, an 80% success rate, just coming in fourth at Riyadh, knocked out by these boys on Talon. But other than that, it has been pretty solid all around. Ollie, just the blank 1,000-yard stare coming through. He knows that they had the opportunity to be able to come into this game, and that Wraith King in the off